When you think of LA style, where does your mind go?
Honestly, I go straight to
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Manly Things,
sort of
podcast where we're talking men's fashion. My name is Evan Stiminich, celebrity menswear stylist. Sally John to my left here.
My name is Sally John, and I am a voiceover actor and an influencer.
I like it. Well, what are you wearing today? I like the whole outfit.
Onitsuka Tiger chrome color. Then I have my other Dr. Collector Japanese denims.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have this beautiful blanket shirt from
Outer Known.
I always forget the name.
And a new hat.
From Hat Club.
I dig
and
it.
it's like a vintage.
Yeah, I think it's 98 World Series logo.
What are you wearing?
Go Yankees. I'm wearing Carhartt Tacovas Todd Snyder, and I did get a new hat as well. I don't know, something Kings, but I like a camo country situation, and then if you got the Dodgers, and yeah, Crown Minded. That's what Crown Minded.
I've been looking for a camo hat, so you might be seeing me next week.
It can't be LA. You can't be rocking a New York hat and then an LA hat. You
Whatever.
get a Phillies. They gotta have. If you just type in Phillies camo hat, boom. This week, the Cannes Film Festival is going on. It's like a 10-day situation. We're gonna wait till that's over with to break down that red carpet. We're gonna do like a more fashion news episode.
You sent me several articles to read over before the show. Seems like we're going to be reporting some news, like correspondence, like, we're planning to be in the future.
These were headlines that I saw on like GQ and Esquire that I thought would be important to just discuss over this episode. First one is a toupee article that I caught my eye that I was like, we have to discuss this. Another one is a Los Angeles style book that a stylist came out with. It's basically just street images of LA style, which I'm very excited for. Another one at Esquire is the 7 best sneakers for the summer, which I think is important. And so for someone who doesn't wear sneakers. And the last one, which I'm super pumped about, I would consider him a friend, Tommy Dorr. And we discuss Moth Food vintage all the time on this show. Just opened up a shop in New York. And so GQ covered it. And I'm very excited to show that and talk about that.
So first things first, I had no idea. You kept the toupee thing away from me.
Yeah.
For some reason, I think you probably found out like right before the show. Anyway, do you know that oh God, I'm so insecure to say this, but I'm planning on getting a toupee. I'm almost fully mastered what's going on with this new toupee thing in millennial culture and whatever. But like, if I get invited to the Superman premiere,
you're gonna do this.
100%.
Okay.
I'm waiting for David to answer any of my texts.
No, here you go. Of course. That's where you just gotta go to the wife, and then that's where the answers get. So yeah, I saw this headline on GQ came about, and it literally said, "Why the toupee is making a comeback with millennial men." Fascinating. Okay. And so I was like, "How? That's such a great clickable headline, right?" So obviously, I clicked it, read the article, and it's basically a cheaper version for hair transplants, like that, because that can be expensive, and it's also like it's not 100% guaranteed that you go through the surgery, you go through all this stuff, that you'll get the follicles and all that kind of stuff to grow, right?
I've done my research. A trip to Turkey, which this is the cheapest way, a trip to Turkey to get a hair transplant in total costs around like $11,000 to $12,000. If you were to stay in the city in LA proper, a hair transplant they like pluck a piece of skin from the back of your neck and transplant the follicles on top, like $25,000 to $30,000.
Oh my!
And if you wanted like the pros to do it, if you wanted a full transplant, I don't know, I think you're getting it done here. It's like $60,000 for the top tier.
And again, it's not a guarantee that it, like, longevity wise, that you'll have hair
medically.
For the rest. Is it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
okay.
My father, mind you, he got a hair transplant in the 70s.
Yeah.
Has like scars all over the top of his head from like people poking holes in his head, and he still has that horseshoe cut.
So he had done it a couple of times then, and still
he's done it once.
Oh, one time.
He has one big scar right here, and then a bunch of dots on his head.
Well, I'm sure like the whole like surgery like that is different now. You would think. I would hope
totally.
So, yeah.
You should look it up. It's actually very interesting. And by the way, I have a close friend
Okay.
who has a toupee, and he's had it for I think like 5 years now.
No way.
And it's like it's changed his life.
But
His name's John Williams. John Williams, I love you. You're great.
Is it the same? So can he essentially take it off his head, go to bed, hang it up like a hat?
No.
Okay.
The process is like long-ish term.
Mm-hmm.
You are supposed to get maintenance, I think, like every 3 months. So it's washable, it's cleanable. The glue that they put on is meant to stay long term.
Okay.
So it's not like the thing in the past where you see a guy with it like sliding off of his head on the New York subway.
Or like a dude bends over and then it just like flaps down, and then when the guy stands up, it flaps back up.
It's completely different. It's made from like genuine hair. It's please, David,
they call it.
I need to get a toupee.
But what's great is they call it a hair system, and so that you basically answered the questions I had for it was, how do you wash your hair? If a girl or a guy is going to rub their hands through it, does it feel real? Does it feel fake? One instance was I was quoting a girl, and she was like, "I love this for guys because I wear hair extensions, and so if a guy were to rub his fingers through my hair, they're going to feel that attachment." And this could be the same thing for dudes, but I'm all for the confidence of, if you want to do something like this, go ahead and do it. You know?
Do you know what? I'm going to give John a call and see if he can answer that question for you. Hey, sweetheart.
How's it going, baby cakes?
Very well. I'm recording.
Wait, tell me we're live. We're live.
Yeah, I'm recording an episode of my show right now. I just have to ask you a quick question, and then I'll. Okay.
Welcome to the show.
We're talking about toupees, and I totally laid you out on the table and exposed you and told everybody that you have a toupee. But we have a question, and it is, when someone is rubbing their hand through your hair, like to get that nice sensual connection, have you gotten any feedback from that?
You know, I don't believe in sensuality or sex, but if I did, I would say that I don't usually let people touch that shit.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's like glue and stuff up there, and they could like make it get loose. I would refrain. But there's like this weird thin membrane of like plastic on some of them, unless it's a lace wig, but I use plastic ones, and they feel really weird. But you can rub it and still probably get a little horny from it.
How often do you switch it out?
I take it off every 2 weeks, and then I just glue it back to my head, but I keep the same wig for like 3 to 4 months, and then I get a new one.
Do you do it at home?
Yeah.
Wow.
That shit's expensive if you pay someone to do it.
Yeah. Oh, I remember you at first were going to somebody, but then you started to do it yourself. John, thank you for answering our questions. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. There are a couple of videos. So for the viewing or listening audience, best to go to YouTube to watch these videos, because I had so many questions when I was reading this article. Luckily, these TikToks are on here showing you how the system gets put on. I think with you growing your hair out, though, isn't that going to mess up the wig situation, or no?
No, because as you'll see, the toupee queen in San Diego, she does a full like haircut.
Oh yeah, right.
A full style.
Yeah. Great video here. Here we go. So she's buzzing him. Oh my gosh. That's what's cool.
I would do a lace front, by the way. I would do lace front.
That's what's cool about it too. Is you can technically have different hairstyles every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're doing the whole wig situation. So basically, just gluing. So I'm sorry. That was what did you say? You were getting a lace front. Is this a lace front wig?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh no, that's plastic. I apologize.
Is it plastic? But from my understanding too, in reading the article, it could be every time you switch it out, it could be between like $300 to $600. So it could be it's essentially a very expensive haircut, or you can be like our friend John here and find a way to do it yourself.
I think eventually.
That's great. That looks so good though. What? Damn. That is fascinating.
And when you watch these videos and see like the muscular structure in these guys' face change from down 100%. To up. Oh, it's so joyous. What was the question that you asked? Oh, the woman that I'm planning on going to, full disclosure, she charges, I think, $1,500 for the initial installation.
For the first one, yeah.
And then your maintenance is like $600 after that.
Right.
And as John just said, it's like you could go every 2 to 3 months if you get the right. I'm planning on getting a longer one. One that I can like grow into.
Because even based off of that video that we just saw, you're getting a proper fade on the sides. So obviously the hair on top is not going to grow. So if the sides start to grow longer than the top.
The Toupee Queen has instructional videos on how she sets people up for either short crew cuts, medium cuts, or long cuts.
Interesting.
It's a complete art, and
I'm honestly all for it. I think it just, I don't know. It's just all about self-confidence, you know? And if you're not confident with being bald and embracing that, there are options, and this is an incredible option to go in. And obviously much cheaper than what you just discussed of like the hair follicle surgery situation and going about doing a proper toupee. This is essentially, I feel like Hollywood helped make this happen. I feel like with wigs, on actors and all that, kind of making this more mainstream for regular people to do their thing. So
Seth MacFarlane has the most intricate and specific hair process. It's underneath of you. Don't ask me how I know, I just do. So even the hottest celebrities require
there are so
the
many.
most maintenance. By the way,
we could name a handful of people here that, and it wouldn't blow the gasket off of things, but it wouldn't be good.
Did you know Seth MacFarlane was supposed to be on Flight 11?
Oh yeah, that went in the tower.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Moving on. Sorry. Great.
Trying something out.
Out there,
I thought that was great.
Yeah,
I
didn't know where to take.
I was just chuckling.
Just a dead
But
fish.
there's really nowhere to go
Dead
from
fish
there. You
on
kind of
the
just
lap
shut.
right
You kind of shut it right down.
Okay. LA-based stylist Jasmine Benjamin came out with a book, and I think this is a great idea. Basically, just photographing people from LA, whether it be celebrities, rappers, gang members. Like, she really went all out in terms of showing what true LA style is. And the book is coming out this week, May 20th, May 22nd or something like that. And we're going to do what we can to have her on. I think she'd be a fascinating guest, but this was a really good article, and we're going to put links out to these articles because I think it's just important, I think, to read up on. When you think of LA style, where does your mind go?
Honestly, I go straight to Snoop Dogg. I think
it's good representation, honestly.
At some point epitomized men's fashion in Los Angeles.
But if you think about what he wears, and even in the article, she references Converse, she references Dickies, all those like workwear. I feel like whether you are, a person in West Hollywood or Santa Monica, between workwear, talking to rappers, even people on the West Side, they're all, you see Dickies, you see Converse, Vans all over the place, But Snoop Dogg, that's a good person to think about. But like, is there, like, when I think of LA style, I think of like skateboarders, or I immediately go to like surfers. I think of like the more like laid back version of it.
That's a good image to put forth. Anyone that's hanging out at the Venice skate park, is like the epitome of LA fashion. And that's like the League of Nations. Not the tourists.
No, not yet. but also you're seeing so many diverse cultures there, and I think that's what I'm so proud of. At least being like a native Angelino, is just wherever you go, it's like culture. You got Latins, you got Koreans, Filipinos, blacks, white, like there's so many different people around here.
You know what? That's a good challenge for the audience. I challenge you to go to a popular hotspot in your local town or neighborhood, check out all of the fashion and everyone's wearing, and check back in with us at info@manlythingspod.com, or you can follow us at Manly Things Pod.
She had a couple good. I genuinely want to use every word that she said, because the last little bit of this article. Good question. How would you describe LA style in 2025? What is your favorite thing about it? And so she said it's very regional. With social media, there's more information about what people are wearing in Paris and New York, but I think LA is very much about the classics. There may be more modern pieces showing up now, especially with the designers and people getting more designer heavy, obviously. The other thing that makes it great is the moment of time is that it's just a frozen, like everything is frozen in the classics. Not really tons into like change of a lot of things, but I like that no matter what the style is anywhere else, Los Angeles still keeps its identity. Even though there might be new subcultures popping up and things like that, LA still keeps its identity because every different subculture relies on the same similar classics interpreted in a different way.
One of my favorite movies is Lords of Dogtown.
Dude, that's why we're buds.
The fashion in that movie is impeccable, and I think that not a lot of fashion, but there's specific cultural figures that inspire fashion, like the Chicanos and the OGs and there's so much inspiration and culture in this city that it emulates pure identity.
100%. And I think she has gang members in this book. She'll go to like punk shows and like not necessarily even get the artist. She's like, I want to see what the audience is wearing, you know?
Psychobilly is hot in LA.
Okay, good to know. No, Lords of Dogtown to me is I've seen that movie hundreds of times.
It is my favorite movie of all time.
I love that. Emile Hirsch.
Mm-hmm.
And like skateboarding, like Vans to me are like I grew up wearing Vans every single day, and I think that embraces that is the skateboarding culture, you know. So, shout out to her. Please go out and I have her Instagram here. I wanted to make sure that people go out and support her. It's Jazzy Benjamin, Jasi Benjamin. Check her out.
Pre-order her book, which is titled.
Pre-order her book, City of Angels, a book about LA style.
Perfect.
Awesome. And again, we're going to do everything we can to try and have her on as a guest. I think it'd be
I just saw
awesome.
YG. YG looks good.
So no, and they opened the article saying that he was, as she was pulling up, he was out there hosing his garage down to get like the good photography. And so he goes back inside, and then he comes back with this leather vest, leather gloves, and then in the shot he's wearing these patent leather like boots.
Fire.
Isn't that so good? Yeah. So
I love YG.
There's some good stuff in here. And then what's cool about too is like she went out and she never really told them really what to wear. She's like, hey, just show up. And then if someone was really questioning her about it, she would go through their Instagram and say like, wear something like this. Like she would never really tell people, hey, I want you to dress a certain way. And that's what, you know, personal style is all about. So, no, shout out to her. And this is a great idea. I feel like every city could do something like this, you know? I don't know. Have you ever heard of Bill Cunningham? He was like the original old man, always wore a blue chore coat, and rode his bike around New York. He was the first photographer, street style guy.
As soon as you said photographer, yes, of course.
So this reminds me of that, and I don't think he's with us anymore, but
neither is Heath Ledger, star of Lords of Dogtown.
You're right. Yeah, that's a good point.
There's a street photographer from New York named Helen Levitt. She's probably a lot old. She's from way back in the day, but she did a lot of street photography in New York of people who were unaware that she was taking photos of them.
Love that.
But the fashion is also pretty fucking crazy because it's such a timepiece. Everyone's wearing these big suits and these crazy things.
Good.
You guys should look into her. She's really cool.
Especially like New York in the 70s or 80s. Like the fashion then is crazy.
Another quick tangent, just a quick,
please.
We'll put a pin in this and I'll tell you something about internet culture. Joey Badass and Ray Vaughn are currently beefing, and they've been beefing for several weeks now. Joey Badass put out a record.
Actor and rapper.
Yes, he put out a record saying that like New York rappers kind of suck and LA is where it's at. And so Ray Vaughn
who's Ray Vaughn?
TDE. He's the newest rapper from TDE, Top Dog Entertainment.
Yeah.
He came out with literally like 4 songs with jabs at Joey Badass, and it was silence. 4 days ago, as we're filming this, I think it's like a week ago, more than a week ago, he put out a record called The Finals, which is right to Ray Vaughn. And there are some of the nastiest lines that I've ever heard in disses, like, I'm gonna let you rot while I yada, yada, yada. And then he says something like, you're going to be the next artist that's dropped from Top Dog Entertainment, and I'm going to be the Reason. Whoa. And Reason was dropped from Top Dog Entertainment in like 2019 because he's a piece of shit.
Great nugget.
Dude, You got to listen to
All
the song.
for it.
It's wild.
Yeah, Top Dog just getting beefs with all these people.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. 7 best sneakers for summer. I do wear sneakers from time to time. I've worn them on the show. I do tend to go more towards like the Margiela or Vans. But these are, I feel like essentials that you could see, you see anywhere really. The Nike Kill Shot 2. What do you think about these guys?
Never tried them on. Have you?
No, I love a gum sole though. The gum sole is like that, like the brown.
Soles.
I love a gum sole. So these are classics. These will go with anything too, whether you're wearing black jeans, chino, anything like that. These are a perfect shoe, especially white sneakers. Really easy. That is the Nike Kill Shot.
Gum soles refers to a sole made from natural latex rubber, typically a light brown or tan color.
Yeah. Love a gum sole. The New Balance. See, I'm honestly not one for the New Balance wearing on a regular basis.
You're not big on dad shoes, period.
Not a dad shoe person. No.
New Balance specialized and went heavy on the dad shoe in the last like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Specifically for the hype beasts.
Mm-hmm.
But they do have other styles, like the 550s that I have.
Yeah.
Cool.
I like
sleek,
I like
comfortable.
But those, I wouldn't say though, like this is technically a running shoe.
No, I disagree. That's a walking shoe.
Okay, it is. I'm glad you said that. My dad every day for 40 years walks in the morning. Okay, He's gotten up early, first thing, and it's always been this shoe.
My dad,
New Balance.
My dad has worn dad's shoes since he's been a dad since the 90s, and he has never not been seen, even on weddings. He has never not been seen in the Nike Air Monarchs, the ultimate dad shoe.
Cariuma is a great sneaker brand. They use sustainable materials, which I think is actually pretty important. Price point wise too, it's actually fairly cheap as well. I actually there's a handful of Cariumas back there. They're really great PR team wise. And they have a ton of different colors. If you go behind the Eagles jersey, you'll see the green boxes. Yeah. More of like a skate shoe. They have more thicker skate shoes, but then they also have these canvas sneakers that are really nice and easy. And then Sally has these pair here. Are we unboxing? Yeah. Nice. Oh, a good color too.
Okay,
Yeah.
Very
This is a fun
nice.
color.
Let me give you a quick description on what I'm dealing with. These are a faux suede with a little bit of canvas. It reminds me of a van.
Yeah, 100%.
But a different shape of a van.
Can you read the green, like the green tag on it? Right here.
Oh, I absolutely can. The green tag on the shoe says, "I am made with organic cotton, cleaner suede from ethical tanneries and raw natural rubber."
It's great.
Okay, so it's natural fabrics. This is super cool. I've been looking for a blue shoe, navy blue specifically.
If they fit, man.
They
If
don't. I
fit,
think
they're
they're like a
yours.
size 15.
Yeah, they're huge. And then you have On Clouds. Again, this is more of like a comfortable sneaker. This is like a good travel shoe, I would say. They're the On Roger. So maybe is this like a Roger Federer collaboration? Maybe no. I'm not seeing his name down.
Can I be honest with you?
What do you think about the On Clouds?
Oh, to be in your Challengers era. Yeah, it's a Roger Federer.
It is Roger
Yeah.
Federer. Okay.
On Cloud shoes, I think are corny, whack, and frauds and flukes because
and comfortable.
I'm so comfortable.
Oh, okay.
well, at least the ones in this article don't have those goofy rivets on the bottom.
The reason why I say that is because they've done too many high fashion houses collaborations. Like they come out with a new shoe with Lil Wei way too much. And that means that these people had money to start with and they just decided to make a shoe brand and now they're connected to all of these. I don't like this brand at all. I actually cringe when I see people wear this shoe.
And they have Zendaya they had her as a face of the campaign for a long time too.
Do I care?
No, you obviously don't. Then we have the Converse. So Converse, and then if we skip down a little bit, they have Vans. I grew up in Vans. Love Converse. These are classics. I would also say like your Asics. Obviously, these are like a very
Onitsuka Tigers.
Yeah, there's a very bright fabric ones, but those are always Asics are always good shoes as well. little like I feel like they're a little bit retro as well.
Asics are also noted to be the most comfortable shoe in the like walking dad casual shoe.
And then I've never heard of this brand. It's the Koyo Capri sneakers. These are just a clean white sneaker. You can find clean white sneakers anywhere you go. Obviously, Common Projects is a higher price point. Rag & Bone sells a good white sneaker. Thursday Boot Company does a really good white sneaker.
Zara,
good white sneaker. Every brand's gonna have a good white sneaker because they essentially just go with anything and everything. So I do think that's a staple piece that guys should have is just a clean white sneaker, whether they be Vans, Cariumas, any of these brands that we just showed you all have a clean white sneaker. I mean, the Nike Air Force all white, like classic, you know? So yeah, thank you for Esquire to do that. I like those little quick, whenever I see like the 7 best whatever for summer or spring, whatever season, I always kind of float through there just to see what they're thinking is going to be popular that year. And so, you know, classic things right here.
I got to make my own list.
Yeah. We should.
Sally's
But that's 100%. We should every season, every turn, every summer, or you know, whatever. We should do like Sally and Evan's top 5. Boom.
We should make a blog.
Our blogs are out, right?
We have a podcast, Evan. I'm joking.
Okay, I appreciate that. Okay, last thing I wanted to cover before we wrap things up is my boy Tommy Dorr. I did just find out what his last name was.
Dorr.
By reading this article. Because in my phone, it just says Tommy Moth Food. And I genuinely appreciate this dude. He's got me out of binds countless times where I can just easily text him, hey, I'm looking for this specific piece. Any chance you have it? And then he's got it dug up. Originally from Detroit, he opened up a vintage shop out there, and then also has a shop here in LA, and just opened one up in New York. Out in like the Bowery, Chinatown area, which is a great spot to be. He is appointment only, so that's the tough part. He's not open to the public. What you can do is if you go on his Instagram at Moth Food, his email address is on there. And if you just say, hey, I'm looking for this specific piece, any chance I can come by the studio? His place is fairly small, so like you almost have to be a little bit specific. But the shopping, he's got tons of stuff in these places. And so I'm super pumped that he's expanding to the East Coast. What he used to do was he would ship out a ton of stuff and whenever they had like whether it be like swap meets or some cool vintage fairs going on, he would set up a booth and sell everything he had. So I think he was like, it's about time that I open up a spot. When it comes to vintage in New York, sorry to cut you off. I don't even think about vintage places in New York. I just don't think it's like a vintage town like LA.
Well, so as I was just about to say before you cut me off,
sorry.
Tommy Dorr, aka Moth Food, has a, listen audience, very, very specific way of curating. And you can tell that he's almost created his own brand or his own like fashion line with everything that he's curated, which I would say is like 50s, 60s, 70s sports and like collegiate wear
100%.
In a way.
Yeah.
However, there are tons of different stores and curators, as Evan just said, in New York City. It's just a completely different, like Carol Christian Pole is huge on the vintage market.
But is it specifically for something else, or is it like it's pretty well rounded?
And no, like in New York.
Okay.
New York is more about like the Yohji Yamamoto vintages. Like think of New York and how people dress all black, intricate detail, and think about all the brands. That's where you're gonna see these like high roller curators aiming towards.
Okay. Even the editor and writer of this article was going in. He was essentially shopping while he was interviewing Tommy for this article, and he was like going through things and was about to buy something and saw that it was like a $5,000 piece, but it was like a designer. And that's one thing about his shops is that like it's not designer heavy. Like he has some random Saint Laurent. I've seen like Saint Laurent suits in there and random things like that, but like he's not about that. So even in this, he's quoted, "Here was tagged to 5,000, which like most Moth Food prices, is pretty fair for what it is. Door guided me instead toward a gauzy striped tee with a cool boxy silhouette and wonky hand stitched breast pocket." And Tommy's like I get the jacket, but I don't really. The relatively unassuming but arguably more unique pocket tee, he said, is what makes vintage interesting to me. I don't want people to have a look at a label to see that something's good or relevant to us today. I love that.
And that's the difference between New York vintage and LA vintage.
Yeah.
New York, I think, specifically curates for the brand or for the brand aspect. Whereas LA, as we said in the beginning, is all about culture and like the natural being. So way to go, Tommy. I think he's doing really well.
So good. And that's what I like just talking to him. He's so well versed in vintage, and even like when he's pricing things out, it's amazing that he's almost like a Rolodex with all that. But just talking about like fabrics and color and fit, you can't find when something's brand new or like even super like designer heavy, it just doesn't fit. You want it to fit a certain way. I feel like when you're shopping vintage and when you find some of these pieces, they do feel they feel better. The color's always like a little bit different because it's like slightly off than normal. So I genuinely appreciate what he does as essentially the curator for his product and everything. And I just like the fact that it's not super like design heavy. So
and I'd love to have him on because
I know we need
especially after what you just said. I didn't know he was so knowledgeable on like the fabrics. And everything.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I know that vintage curators are knowledgeable. I asked somebody about a single stitch T-shirt once, and I got a 4-hour lecture on what that meant.
And like it's such a simple question, but when you have that much knowledge, you got to share. But I'm just curious. I would love to talk to him because whenever I see him, he's not like stressed or like worried about getting more clothing. He essentially has 3 shops and an online shop because you can buy some of his stuff online, I believe at mothfood.com. So like, where are you getting your stuff from? Like, and I know he does travel to like Japan. He does travel to Asia and get some stuff from out there too. But it's, I'm curious to see that world and see even how competitive it is. He's not going to give up any sources of like where he's getting his stuff from, but it'd be interesting to see where he gets all of his stuff.
He's from Detroit. They keep things really secret.
And
there.
I feel like those Midwesterners, they're just built a little differently. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's that was just like a newsworthy episode that we wanted to share with you guys. We didn't introduce ourselves.
I know, isn't that amazing?
I can. You want to go first? You can.
Here's what's going to happen. Lucas just heard this. He's going to cut and paste what we're doing right now back to the beginning, and then we're going to come back here, and this conversation is going to go seamless. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah.
Now we're back to the end of the show. That was seamless, right?
No, but thank you. We do want to see what you guys are wearing, so please send your daily fits to us, and thank you to the people who have. We appreciate that.
Feel free to DM us too. I know we always direct you to our email, but we check our DMs every 30 minutes.
Yeah. If you have any sort of questions based off of what we talked about, articles where you're trying to find something specific, I feel like we have a lot of knowledge behind on that kind of stuff. We're shopping basically every day. So if you have any questions, please feel free to hit us up.
Please message us because our wives leave us really lonely and we just want to talk to people.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just talking to kids every day. So, but this has been a Manly Things.
Sort of.